Thank you. My name is Kathleen Walters. I live at 27354 Tennessee Street, Bonita Springs. And I'm running for office for District 5 for City Council in Bonita Springs. And I guess I'm on to my high points, right?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, one of my big high points is think globally and act locally. You know, if we're going to clean up the world, we have to start in our hometown and in our backyard. And I think that's one of my big things is no more suburban sprawl. I mean, we're moving out. We're moving further and further out, and what is the point? I mean, you know, it's a little bit scary. But anyway, another point to me is I'm a fiscal conservative. I don't think we should spending all kinds of money on all kinds of things. Another point is we should be bringing non-polluting, high-paying jobs to Bonita, like IT jobs, computer jobs, which are definitely not polluting, and the world is going towards that anyway, and it's going to IT. So I think we have to start controlling our development. I mean, you know, in the last 5 years, the only thing I've seen on Old 41 that's happened is a Family Dollar store came in, and that's, you know, been a bit of a, I don't see that's enough at all. I mean, 5 years we're talking. You know, other countries have 5-year plans. We didn't seem to have much of a plan there. I think we should study the option of our own police force. I think especially if we're going to bring gambling to the dog track, and that is a possibility. I think we should definitely have our own police force because we're going to have to police. We can't have people running down from North Fort Myers, you know, deputies, if we're going to have gambling, you know, in town. You know, it's going to. I think we need our own police force. I've had a lot of people tell me that they don't know most of the police. Their children are being battered by police about being on their skateboards and things. So this isn't coming from me. This is coming from other people that I've spoken with, you know. So we're also big enough, 43,000 people strong. I mean, we should have our own police force. You know, a lot of towns are much smaller than us, and they have their own police force. Okay. All right, we should also study the option of putting the fire district under the city so we could be Bonita Springs Fire City rather than district. Because what do we have? 2 blocks outside of our city that's district. The district came in before the city came in, so we should really rethink this. The district was already in operation when, you know, the city came in, so at this point we're paying all kinds of money. We're building firehouses that aren't doing very much. You know, we could almost have schools in them at this stage. But anyway.
Could we ask a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you wanted me to go through on my list? Well, we could stop now. It's fine.
Just.
I know. It could be like, you know, go right ahead.
Give and take, maybe. Okay. On the jobs.
Yes.
You mentioned high-paying, low-polluting, high-tech jobs. Seems like everybody would want those jobs. What does Bonita Springs do to get those jobs when Naples is going for them and Fort Myers is going for them?
Oh, is everybody going for them? I wasn't aware of that. Well, I think Bonita Springs has some of the best beaches. So I think because of our location, a lot of people would like to live here. I think that's why Hertz came to Estero. I mean, it pushes right into Bonita because we have good beaches, we have good parks. People would like to live here. You know, it's from my house, it's 5 minutes to the beach, and I live in Old Bonita. And I think that's one of the reasons. I guess Naples has its own reasons, too, everybody. I guess maybe all over the country, you know, towns that are suffering need this kind of thing.
Should the city offer specific incentive programs to attract these people to within the city limits?
I would think so. I don't know what kind. I've never really thought about it. You know, I've been to tons of computer shows. I have a lot of contacts. I know a lot of people in the business. I never, you know, I could bring people in if I let them know, and we could have like even a little, you know, like a little get-together here, or go to some of the computer shows, tell them about the city, and, you know, what's good about it. And Hertz is already a big draw. That Hertz came here could make other people think, wow, this sounds like a great place to be, you know.
Walk us through, how would you pay funding a new police department, creating a police department? Walk us through your steps, your rationale for having your own police department.
Well, like I just said, there were two reasons. If we're going to really bring in the gambling, I think we should have local police that can, jump in their cars, and they should be Bonita citizens,
Sure.
which we don't have right now. You talk to deputies, one lives in North Fort Myers, another one lives in, Lehigh Acres. It's just not a good thing. This is why I've had, parents say that they're very unhappy and they think that we should have a police department. Like I said, this wasn't my idea. This came from walking and talking. And then when I started thinking about the gambling, thing, the gambling thing can bring a lot of money, but I think if we're going to do it, we should put in a hotel right on that big corner and not just put willy-nilly things into the Greyhound racetrack. Why not make it a destination where people can come and stay in the hotel? They're 3 miles from the beach, and now you're talking now you're developing the dog track into something new, which is a gambling hotel.
Kathy, how would you pay for the police department? And how many officers do you think the city should have?
I really have never even thought about that, because how much do we pay the sheriff? I mean, I haven't looked at all that up. I'm saying it's a study for our own police department.
Okay.
We have to. Somebody told me that we pay twice as much for policemen when they work overtime than we really need, and we ask for extra police for some odd reason. Bonita Springs asks for extra policing, so we're paying twice now for extra police, and they're driving down from all kinds of places, and it's even a pollution issue. Why do we need police driving like crazy all over the interstates and whatever to get here? Why can't we have our own local police? I grew up in a town of 50,000. We had our own police department. You knew the police. People didn't even lock their doors, but that's another issue. But because the police were great police, and everybody knew everybody, and it was a town of 50,000. I don't know how many police we had. I really don't. I could probably find out.
So if you envision that you had your own police department, a requirement to be on that force would be that you live within the city limits? I
would think so. It was really funny because I was speaking to this young Mexican, he's obviously first-generation guy right in my neighborhood, and he said to me, what a great idea. He said, because I'm going into the police academy. And he said, this is terrific. And I said, well, because he started reading my thing. I didn't bring it up. And that's how we started, speaking. And he was really happy. And he said, that would be great. I could be right here, and this would be my district, and my city. And he's grown up here, and his family lives, here. And so I've gotten some good responses from it, but how we'd have to pay for it, or how we get the money from the county, I don't know all that. Like I said, it's a study. I haven't gotten into the economics of it. I'm sure that's a big part of the study. There's always the economics. In the end, it's always money.
You mentioned that you've been to a lot of computer shows. I don't think you mentioned much about your professional background, but do you have a background in computers? Or?
Well, yeah, I've been marketing director for Virtual DBA since 92, or is it 90? No, 92, because that's when I stopped working for the other marketing company. And I was district manager for a place called Marketing Force. But anyway, and yeah, because of, I think I've learned a lot in the computer industry because of the shows. More than I've learned by myself, so I didn't study computers. I've never really studied them. I think I took Fortran in college, that was it.
Kathy, why are you running again?
I'm running because I think Bonita is going in the wrong direction. I think it needs to turn around and start looking at what it's doing. In the charter issue now that about term limits, and there's no way that we have any kind of anything in place about term limits. We can walk over ourselves, so there's no legal action to be taken if the city council decides, well, now we'll have no term limits, So I don't know if that's such a good idea. I grew up in a town where there was a mayor who was in office, I think, for 35 or 40 years. Nobody ever went against him. He was the mayor. And I just read this thing about Apopka, Florida. It was in the Florida Trend. I don't know if anybody read it. He's been mayor for 46 years in Apopka, Florida. But I don't know where that is.
But Bonita does have term limits.
It has term limits, but they're not enforceable. In other words, if they wanted to really, You know, there was that whole question about,
Arthur Simons is term limited out.
yeah, right now, but I'm saying they could change that. I mean, you know, it can be changed because it's not really in the charter to say that it's enforceable by anything.
Kathy, when
It's
you
a
say-
legal thing.
When you say the city's going in the wrong direction, what are the three things that stand out to you? Says this is bad, this is bad, this is bad.
Well, I think the DRGR is a very big example.
Okay.
You know, and to think that, you know, construction is the only thing, you know, why aren't we thinking about the downtown? Let's build apartments right by the railroad tracks if we're going to build a vibrant downtown. How is everybody going to keep driving in from the suburban sprawl to downtown? You know, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you know, young people can't even find places to live. I've heard this too. I've heard young people living with their parents and have a decent job have no place to go because they can't make money. You know, but these are all things I've never really thought about because I just live here. You know, but now that I really have been out there talking to people, I'm getting a whole different perspective. Oh, another big thing is from a lot of people, they want to keep it micro-environmental. They don't want to, more people brings much bigger, large highways. You know, I have friends off at Terry on Mora and Esther and Bel Rio who are really worried they're going to have, especially if they do the DRGR, they're going to have to widen Terry. And this is worrying people. This is all, you know, a part of people's concerns. One woman said she's going to move out of here if this keeps going. You know, and she's really nice, and I really liked her, and she's highly intelligent and educated, and I thought, you know, this is what's going to happen. You know, it's going to scare a lot of people away. You know, I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to leave. You know, but, you know, it's people are worried. People are worried, you know. I love it here. When I got here, you know, there was hardly anything on Bonita Beach Road. It was all basically trees. You know, and that's really changed. And, you know, and I've only been here 15 years. You should hear people telling me about when Terry was still a dirt road, you know, or a gravel road. So, you know, it's, yeah.
So the annexation and incorporation issues, would they fall into line with your view of we should retain some of that small character?
You're talking about annexing Estero?
Well,
annexation of
Pelican Landing.
Well, that's, to me, that's kind of small potatoes. I think the big thing is that annexing Estero is a little bit too crazy.
How about the incorporation of Estero?
I think if they want to be their own city, let them be their own city, and they should incorporate. I have nothing against that. I mean, why should they be unincorporated? You know, I know there's still even sections that won't even come under that incorporation, which I think is at the end of Coconut Point Road. I don't remember the name, you know, the names of those residential areas, but I think leave Estero alone. You know, what are we going to go in there now, start building in there because we don't have enough room in Bonita? I mean, let them worry about their own problems. Maybe they have their own people that you know, want to be involved, and not us. You know.
Kathy, do you think the city operates in a transparent manner?
Not really. I think there is a bit of cronyism here.
Examples that you can bring to us here for the...
Well, I mean, look at our
viewers
TV
local.
channel. I mean, our TV channel is the most pathetic thing you've ever seen on the planet. I have read that Fertilized Wise that goes on constantly, at least 1,000 times a day, if you just quickly turn it on. Then another one I really like is when they show you the pictures of the street signs. Indiana, Idaho. Then they go to Michigan, Washington. I mean, what is that? Explain to me. Am I 2 years old? I need to look at street signs? This is an embarrassment. The city channel is an embarrassment. It's not being utilized effectively at all. And this is TV. We're in the age of TV and screens, and here we are. I'm staring at a street sign. Am I supposed to go to sleep on my couch? Sorry.
If you're elected, how would you use it better?
First of all, I think we should have debates. I also believe in a lot of the clubs in town could be like my fruit club. We have lectures. Why can't we go in and videotape the lecture and immediately put it on TV? And then now more people will join the fruit club. You know, there's all kinds of things that can be done, and I'm still staring at street signs.
When you mentioned cronyism, talk about the cronyism. What do you see that would... Talk about the cronyism and then dovetail... Yeah, talk about that, and then we'll come back to another question.
Cronyism. I had it written down.
As you're looking that up, up, so.
Okay, cronyism, in the sense of, yeah, if there's competitive bids, you don't want to just lead it to one person. In other words, you need competitive bids for things. You can't just say, well, I'm going to give it to my friend over here. I mean, I know it's part of politics, but in today's day and age of politics, let's face it, you can't hide very much because of the media and information technology. It's, you know.
Is there an example where what you just described has happened?
Well, I don't have an example. I do not have an example. I do not believe I have an example.
How would you be different than, how would you describe yourself working with your fellow members of the council and the mayor?
I'm not going to say much. I'm going to listen. I don't want to spend more time in there than I have to. I'm going to listen unless I have a very important point. And I think, if anything, you know, make my own decision. I mean, you know, I don't want to be led by, you know, I'm not a, you know, I'm not really you know, what do they call a goat that you're going to lead me down the pasture? It's not. I studied philosophy in college. I know all about this. Yes, my major was philosophy. So, you know, I really don't go with the crowds. If there's a line at the bank, I don't go. I'll go later. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't have time for all this standing around, you know, and, you know, it's, you know, I'm kind of, you know, I mean, I'm a leader in my own way, but I don't want to be led.
Is there anybody at City Hall who leads council members around?
Well, I don't know if I, you know, would like to talk about that, but I do get that feeling a little bit, yes.
Who does that?
Well, I don't want to pinpoint names because I'm not against anybody. You know, I try to keep an even keel about things like that, but I don't want to start saying it's somebody. But
You mentioned, you said earlier in this that you don't want to spend more time at City Hall than you need to. That can be taken as a negative, because the question will be then why are you running?
Oh no! I mean, a lot of things you have to do is spend time on the phone and get your emails from your constituents. I'm more into the constituent issue, you know, than I am, you know, starting to give a 15-minute speech about something that no one's going to listen to anyway. That's all I meant by that. I don't mean it negatively. But, I mean, what you really want to know is what the people want. We're here for the people, right?
Constituent service is your point, then.
Right. I think that's, you know, the people are the ones you want. So, you know, I'm telling you, I've learned so much just walking, which I have never even thought of and hadn't thought of. I was kind of against the idea of gambling in the beginning, but then I thought, if you put in a hotel, somebody mentioned it, and made it a tourist attraction and a tourist destination, not only would it... you know, the Greyhound racetrack kind of dies in the summer. So if you put in the hotel, you could have year-round summer jobs. I have a friend who works at the Greyhound racetrack. She gets 6 months unemployment a year because she gets laid off because it dies in the summer.
You described yourself at first as a fiscal conservative.
Yes.
How does that square with taking on the responsibilities of a police department, taking on the responsibilities of a fire department?
Well, we're paying tons of money right now to both. So it just has to be reworked out financially. I don't see that it's going to cost us more. If anything, it could cost us less, especially at the fire department, where we're paying the highest salaries in the state to our firemen. You know, and I don't see a hell of a lot of fires in Bonita. I've been looking around, you know, I haven't seen one in years. You know, I know one house burned around our corner 3 years ago or something. That's the last fire I've seen. I mean, I know the woods are there, and there's that whole problem with the woods, and I guess other fire departments have to come out for that. But we're paying a tremendous amount of money to the fire department. And the pensions are going to kill everybody. When everybody's pensions come in, oh my God. That's 100% or something like that. I mean, 100% pension, you know? I mean... It's you know, it's a matter of taxes there. It's really a matter of taxes. It's pushing everybody's taxes up. Every time I get my fire bill, I mean my tax bill every year, now I see fire again up. Tremendous amount. You know, I don't see school even increasing that much. I think school should be increasing more than the fire department. I mean, education is everything.
You mentioned that along Old 41, as far as you could tell, there had been a Family Dollar and not much else happened. What specifically can or should the city do, city council do, to spur more development? in that corridor.
Well, I thought we were going to, well, now we're getting $16 million or $15 million, is it, from Lee County for this? I don't know if we're borrowing it or how it's going.
Oh, you gotta pay it back.
I figured that, yeah, because I saw the Bank of America statement about borrowing it. Well, I have a vision of making it like I said, with the old, if you built apartment buildings along the train station, you would already have people renting in there. Now, what we want is, we already started with the artist cottages and the Lyles Hotel. Now, what we need is to build something across the street. Maybe a nice hotel right where the park is.
Bamboo?
At the old Bamboo Village, correct. We could put in something really good and nice, and where people would go dining, I mean, sort of like, and also a bohemian center where people can walk. I mean, there's a lot of traffic. Maybe we could divert traffic over a flyover or around. I mean, Old 41 is kind of like, I don't know, you gotta like almost start anew. But we don't want to start anew because we don't want to take down the nice Lyles Hotel. We don't want to take down the artist cottages. I don't believe at all in that plastic thing. What is it? The children's park that they built behind the depot even fits. I mean, that's just the wrong place for it, in my opinion. And we should start light rail from Naples down to up to Fort Myers, and then people would want to come to Bonita if we really look great and we have cafes and restaurants and really spur the economy to make it look very, very like Lincoln Road in Miami. Have you been to Lincoln Road in Miami? Sort of a promenade-y kind of thing where there's all kinds of nice, interesting restaurants and cafes and places where it's kind of more bohemian. Somebody even told me yesterday, she read that thing did you just read the vision on Old 41? It's on our webpage.
Kathy, how would you pay for light rail between Naples and Bonita? I
guess talk to the railroad companies and see if they're willing to, help out. It couldn't hurt them. I mean, it's time to kind of think about rail again anyway. I mean, let's face it, our streets are crowded. During snowbird season, you don't even want to go out the door. I have friends of mine tell me in November they start stocking up so they don't have to go shopping. It gets pretty crazy. It's not even there yet, but come February.
But what you're asking for a private company, a rail company that says, we want you to just build rail for us so we can drive. Well,
we already have the tracks. I mean, couldn't they just somehow, isn't it the Seminole Railroad?
Seminole.
Right, so can't they try to help us there or something, I mean, it couldn't hurt. I mean, we could be like the center between Fort Myers and Naples. We would be like, and if we had a really good downtown there, people would actually flock to come to us. It could, I could see that. We could really be very, very prominent. Then we'd really be bringing companies in. If we've avoided doing anything with Old 41. We've let it sit around for like 14 years practically. Since the city they talked about it already. That's why they took Bamboo Village down. Oh, we're going to do something downtown here. We did nothing. We did absolutely nothing.
Why do you think it's got no momentum? It's just talk and talk and talk?
I don't think it's in a lot of people's interests. I don't think there's any vision. You should go on my website, read my 3-4-page vision. There's no vision. There's no real thought about how are we going to do this? How are we going to approach this? There's no thought at all. Oh, no, we'll put in a Family Dollar store here. We'll put another storage space over here on 41. Why that's there, I can't figure out. But yes.
What's your vision for Everglades Wonder Gardens? Do you have one?
Now, what I'm not sure about here right now, I think it's an okay place, but is it open again? I thought
Yes.
I didn't understand that when Piper sold it.
He didn't sell it.
Oh, he didn't sell
He
it.
was leasing it to Mr.
I didn't know
Mr.
that.
Brady.
It was different in the paper. As far as I read in the paper, he was selling it. Maybe I didn't
He
keep
wants
up
to
right
sell
after
it
that.
to whoever comes up with the money, but Mr. Brady does not have the money.
Oh, I see. But I haven't even been in there. I mean, I've been in there before, but I haven't been in there recently, because once you've been in there once, you really don't need to go again. You know, I've taken other friends there, that's not true, it's like the Empire State Building. When I lived in New York, I only went to the Empire State Building when friends came. You know, you don't go up there otherwise, you know, it's the same kind of thing. So the Everglades Wonder Gardens, I haven't been in there recently. Does it look better? It was a little scary last time I was there, because the black bear had a very small cage, and I don't like caging animals, and, you know, I have a thing about all that. But,
Has been
All the animals are gone.
The animals are gone.
Alligators and flamingos.
like a botanical garden.
Right.
Oh, it's a botanical garden.
He's trying real hard.
Does it look nice? I should go in there.
He would love to have you.
Oh, I would love to go in there.
There you go.
Really? Oh, I didn't know about it. I thought it was, I didn't understand what happened there at all, and I think a botanical garden is wonderful, with nice birds and stuff. Does he have, like...
Starting with plants.
Well, plants is where you start. I'm in the fruit club. I know all about it. You know, been in the fruit club for a long. In fact, the first 2 months I was here, I joined the fruit club. In those days, they used to advertise it in the banner, and now there's not even a word of it. It's like we're dead people. Thank you. When I was secretary, I used to send things all the time, but that's another issue.
We
I'm
just
no
have a
longer
little
sec-
bit of time left. Does anybody here have any last question that we want to make sure to get to?
And the question that I asked the previous candidate, if you have to say something to a prospective voter to choose you as the future councilman for District 5, I mean, what would you say?
Over somebody else?
No, it's what would you say to convince them to vote for you?
Okay. What would I say to? Well, usually I tell people because, well, a lot of women I tell them a woman, but that's another issue. I had to throw that in there. So no, but listen, women need to be in politics. We're not in it enough, you know. But consequently, no, it's not even that. It's that I'm passionate about the city, and I don't like it. I don't want to see it torn down, and I don't want more suburban sprawl. I just don't understand. Do we need more suburban sprawl? I have nothing against townhouses being built next to each other, or even like I said, we could do apartment buildings and townhouses. Even downtown, sort of a mix somehow, you know, along the, you know, it wouldn't be bad. Young people need places to live, especially if they're coming from FGCU or from Edison College. A lot of young people end up here, they like it here, and they have no place to go because they don't have the money to buy a house. There's hardly any apartments. Look for appropriate apartments. Somebody told me the other day, can you find me an apartment? I'm not a real estate agent, you know, but they were paying too much. You know, they really want, or was it their daughter wanted it? Their daughter wanted an apartment, and they're living with them, and there's no place to go for this. So it's a matter of housing. But suburban sprawl is not the answer here.